Let us begin. As we begin, let me find where I stashed my water bottle in my little cause and effect of my room. Here it is. Need to stay hydrated. Take responsibility for your actions. What a loading screen tooltip. Holy shit. Alright, back to Act 1, Eternal Thirst. Rat blood is not as nourishing or tasty as human, but will partially refill your blood bar. Yeah, by the way, I need to recall how the fuck I do this. Okay. Blood power. Okay. This at least lets me look around at things, and I think, yeah, might as well take a look at controls. Vampiric skills / mesmerize. Okay, click in senses for that. Swap things for weapons. And medical checkup. Is it supposed to be like that? I guess so. Okay.
I have this thirst for blood. This is despicable.
What was the button to sneak? If at all. Okay. 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 I definitely came up out of the warehouse. So the blood trail continues onward in this direction.
It's locked, all right.
Locked, alright.
Fresh blood. The whole building reeks of it. The scent is so strong it makes me dizzy.
Lead rod.
As one, we shall overcome this. We've done it before.
Two-handed weapon. Equip a two-handed weapon, use Y to press its special ability. The scythe, for instance, could be used to parry an incoming attack, shifting heavy stun damage if used corrected.
This place reeks of bloodshed. This creature is bedeviled. I must put it down.
Oh, how do I get you off? How do I get you off? I'm fighting what seems like some kind of ghoul. That was way too slow of a... Used bludgeon. 65 over... Okay. Attack speed is slower, though. This is the person that he was checking on.
William was an honorable man. I could have saved him.
Mr. Hampton, are you in there?
I knew him well, another lost soul, a kindred spirit.
Sir, listen to the sound of my voice. I'm a doctor. You're suffering from shock.
I must return to my flock. They'll stray without me.
Remember, certain skulls are every bit as resistant as we are.
Who are you? What do you mean by scowl?
You truly are a newborn. I should have realized.
Wait. You are the woman from the bar. Are you... like me? Can you help me?
I believe, sir, I already have.
Fucking hell. Not a person will tell me goddamn shit in this town.
By George and the Saints, you've solved the mystery of these terrible murders. Patience, good fellows, I've come to offer help. Just give me a moment to secure my boat. We can leave this awful place.
William was not the evil man they claimed. He was just taken by the thirst. He needed this drink.
This man requires medical attention. We'll see he gets to the nearest hospital.
No, please, I must tend to my fold. My flock needs me.
There, sir. Go with the good Dr. Swansea. He's resourceful, and I'm sure he'll take good care of you.
You'd best come as well. The sun is soon to rise, and you'll need a place to rest.
I just need a moment. If I can learn something about what has happened to William, I'll be a step closer to understanding what happened to me.
This poor creature can't be my maker. Could it be some subspecies of vampire? I must find a place to analyze the blood.
In 1919. Okay. At dawn we row. Achievement unlocked. Damn, if I had known we were so close to the end of a chapter, I would have pushed on last time.
Where are we headed?
We're on our way to the Pembroke Hospital. It's just across the canal. They'll have a bed for poor Mr. Hampton.
William was... What manner of creature was he?
Predator, prey, villain, and victim. Who can say? The important thing is that he's been stopped.
Duly noted. And the woman? What... Who is she?
What woman?
Oh, don't play me for a fool. You used me to locate that skull. You must know who she is.
And I thought you a gentleman. You shouldn't talk about a lady behind her back, but I will tell you she values her privacy. Were London as peaceful as she appears from the middle of the canal? If only that were the reality of the situation.
To be honest, I've always tried to avoid this part of town.
Pembroke Hospital is the last bastion between the rest of London and the epidemic. The flu has decimated the East End and the war still rages. Welcome to the front lines of a plague.
This is where you work, Dr. Swansea?
I am the administrator of Pembroke Hospital.
I thought you were here in service of your mysterious order, the Brotherhood of...
Of St. Paul's Stole, yes. But first and foremost, I'm a man of science. A physician, like yourself, Dr. Reed.
How do you know who I am?
No need for modesty. You are Dr. Jonathan Reed, a surgeon of some caliber and renown, if I'm not mistaken.
You are correct, sir.
I knew it. I had my suspicions. But when you took the blood sample from the corpse of poor William, I was certain. Dr. Reed. Marvelous.
This man might know more about us than
I attended
we do.
3 of your seminars before the war. I have the utmost admiration for your research. And what a turn of fate. England's most esteemed blood specialist returns to London a vampire.
That word, again. From a so-called man of science.
I understand. Traditionally, the role of science is to refute myth, but when myth walks among us, the Brotherhood of St. Paul has dedicated its purpose to their study. There's so much for you to learn.
And for that, you are right.
Well, then let me be blunt. Join my staff at Pembroke Hospital. As a physician. I suspect you'll not find a better post of employment to contemplate your predicament.
This is sudden. I was returning home to see my sickly mother. But alas, that was before contracting this... affliction.
Dr. Reed, take a moment to consider. The post would be for the night shift, providing a good explanation for your absence during daylight hours. You'll be adequately reimbursed, and have a place to hide. I even had the forethought to bring some clean clothes. So, what do you say?
Please say yes.
It seems I have little choice, but yours is a generous offer, so I thank you.
Brilliant! Oh, Jonathan, this is one for the book, and the beginning of a beautiful friendship.
Okay. We have a job again. Now it's just a question of whether people will recognize us at the job. It's interesting, all windows are boarded. Well, most, at the very least.
Dr. Swansea, thank goodness. I was beginning to be concerned.
Worry no more, Nurse Crane, for I bring good news.
Oh, Doctor, what a night. We lost 2 more patients. Nurse Scow said she couldn't take it anymore and resigned.
Yes, well, I'll make a new rota in the morning. In the meantime, find a good bed for Mr. Hampton. Be sure to pay attention to his needs.
Of course, Doctor.
Oh, and Dorothy,
Yes, Doctor?
Dr. Reed here has just returned from the front. He served King and Country. Joining us here at Pembroke. We're very lucky to have gained a surgeon of his talent, and one so experienced in blood transfusions.
That is good news indeed, Doctor.
Oh, yes. Here at Pembroke, it's not what we have, but what we haven't. It's only thanks to Nurse Crane and the staff that our ship doesn't sink. If you have any questions, just ask her.
Duly noted. Thank you.
Your assistance is required, Dr. Swansea,
Welcome
immediately.
aboard, Jonathan. We'll catch up after my rounds. Coming, Nurse Crane. I'm coming.
This guy is really, really happy to have met us and known us. Look at that. Chapter 1. Take me to a hospital. Okay. Analyze Williams Bishop's blood. 1919 Vogue for sure.
I cannot enter.
Is there anything we can help with?
It's okay, Jonathan. I'll see you later.
Okay. Provided everything's alright.
You can do better than that. Nah, it's my turn.
Rotten or pristine, each heart contains the seeds of life. Drink at this river, try it all.
No.
Oh, come on, you bastard. I won't bite.
Sir, please. You've lost too much blood. Calm yourself.
You think I didn't notice? Stop your staring and get me to an hospital, you arse.
Be more polite.
Insulting a good Samaritan. Not exactly the way to get rescued.
All right, sorry. I am in pain here. My guts are spilling out onto the street and you're yabbering on.
Yes. That's a very nasty wound you've got there. Take my word, I am a doctor. Dr. Jonathan Reed.
Name's Clay Cox. I'd appreciate you helping me to a better place, Doc.
Follow me, Mr. Cox. Let me assist you to that better place.
Blood quality. Is it really gonna force me to do this? Okay, higher the blood quality, more XP you get. Mesmerize. Drink the blood of your prey. You need to mesmerize them. Please, just let me do a medical checkup instead.
Bring this fading light into the shadows. Dance with him the dance of life and death.
Embrace or release him. Embracing will provide a massive XP boost, but where there will be consequences. Learning about citizens and collect their hints will increase experience gained. Release him.
No more. Not tonight. Not like this.
Merciful
I will
release.
not take another life.
Oh, thank God.
What happened?
Is he healed? No. Are we just gonna let him bleed out? Ah, fucking no. At bare minimum, we did not kill him. Of that, I am tremendously thankful.
It is wise for the huntsman to sometimes let his prey go. But no famished hunter can run for long.
Not listening.
Good evening, nurse. I'm Dr. Jonathan Reed, the new surgeon here at the Pembroke.
Dr. Swansea has already told us about you, sir. I'm Nurse Gwyneth Brannigan. Welcome to the Pembroke Hospital.
Did he really? It's a good thing I wasn't hoping to keep a low profile.
All members of staff have already read about your new blood transfusion technique. Dr. Swansea made sure of that.
I see. Well, I'm a little surprised, but I suppose I'll just have to deal with this unexpected notoriety.
You must know, blood transfusions are Dr. Swansea's primary subject of research. He is convinced it is the future.
Do you require medical assistance, nurse?
Thank you for your concern, but I'm fine.
How are things here?
Not good, to say the least. We're struggling against an invisible enemy, more lethal than any bullet from a gun. It's hard, Doctor.
An invisible enemy? Quite a poetic term for a disease, especially from a nurse.
Sorry, Doctor. These last few weeks
Thing to do
have
with
been
anatomy,
exhausting.
especially.
We could all do with a good night's sleep.
Accidentally pulled open a YouTube video on my phone.
Do you think this hospital can
Oops.
survive the epidemic?
We are all volunteers here, and we're trying to hold fast, but how do we beat an invisible killer? Some nurses have already resigned.
I'm not familiar with all the staff yet. Perhaps you could help me.
Brilliant professionals, most of them. Dr.
Most of
Swansea
them.
has a gift for recruiting talent.
Most of them. Is there a problem I should know about, nurse?
It would be inappropriate for me to speak ill of a colleague.
Is there anyone that stands out?
Well, I have never met someone as dedicated as Dr. Tippett. He should be a standard for us all here. If only he were younger.
Why should his age be a problem?
I guess it's fair to say he's always pushing himself to the limits. He just doesn't know when to stop and get some rest.
Okay, good to know. You can try to press.
Nurse Brannigan, if you do know something, please tell me. Anything you say will be held in confidence.
No, I may disagree with some conduct, but in the end, everybody is doing their best.
Okay. Hints required for personal questions.
Goodbye, nurse. Call me if you need assistance.
Dr. Swansea asked me to give it to you, Dr. Reed. Hurry up!
Ooh, okay.
Doctor, where have you been? I've little time to play hide and seek with new staff members, no matter how illustrious they may be.
I found a wounded man by the docks. He answers to the name of Clay Cox. He requires urgent medical attention.
Already making the rounds? That's the Pembroke spirit. I'll ask our porter, Milton, to bring him back immediately.
Thank you, nurse. What can I do for you?
Dr. Swansea insisted we provide you a quiet office. You'll find it on the second floor with your name on the door.
Thank you. Nurse Crane, isn't it?
Yes, Dorothy Crane. Welcome to Pembroke Hospital, Dr. Reed. Your office has been prepared.
Couple questions. Do you have
I would
time?
like to ask a few questions first.
That's Mr. Hampton.
And Mr. Hampton, the patient we brought in. How does he fare?
I gave him a sedative to help him sleep. Poor thing was in quite a state of shock.
What kind of man is Dr. Swansea?
Well, you accepted the job from him. I thought you would have known about your employer.
It's right to assume Dr. Swansea knows far more about me than I do about him.
You'll get to know him soon enough, and better than me. The administrator has better things to do than mix with us.
Interesting. I'm not going to tell her I only... Well, maybe I should. Let's do it.
Apologies, I've only just met him the once. This is sudden. I've only just returned to England.
Dr. Swansea is a brilliant surgeon and the most compassionate physician.
Okay. I'm just thankful I didn't miss a clue there.
If you could point me in the direction of my room again, nurse.
Second floor of the hospital, left after the stairs. It's the last vacant office at the end of the corridor.
Okay.
Thank you, Nurse Crane.
We'll at least try to see if it seems like the same nurse. I'll investigate to be
Good
safe.
evening, Nurse Brannigan.
Good evening, Doctor.
Goodbye, nurse. Call me if you need assistance.
Same nurse. Fair enough. It looked like it. I just wanted to make sure. It's also quite far afield to be wandering this way. In fact, I would dare to say it's too far afield, and I'm going back. Due to the influenza, this hospital can no longer take any patients. Hospital full. Please go home. More staff to see to.
Good evening, Nurse Brannigan.
Good evening, Doctor.
How are you here? Is every nurse Miss Brannigan? I just want to, like, talk with people. Is this gonna be considered stealing? I guess not. Thank goodness. Okay. You cannot be Nurse Brannigan. You talk to me.
Good evening, sir.
So it is true. The famous Dr. Reed has joined us. I can't think of any better news during these terrible times.
Do we know each other?
Actually, yes. We met once before at the Rockefeller University in New York.
Dr. Tippett, yes, I remember. I was assisting Professor Carell in his research about coronary bypasses. He had nothing but praise for you.
He was also very confident about your future. And look at you now. Eminent surgeon and blood transfusion specialist.
What is the Pembroke Hospital situation? And please, speak freely.
This hospital is not exactly the best of London. I'm sure you are used to working in a better environment.
People are more important.
It's more than enough. In any case, the personnel of a hospital are much more important to me than the building.
Don't be misled by appearances, Dr. Reed. This hospital does not lack talented people. It just lacks hope.
Tell me about the
What
staff.
Can you tell me about the staff in the hospital?
Some are really good, and others are not so good. But during this troubled period, there is no time for slander. I prefer to focus on the positive character traits.
Tell me more about cherished people, then.
Nurse Brannigan is a pearl. She is the most helpful and dedicated nurse I've ever worked with. A clever and cheerful woman.
You really seem to admire her skills.
Convinced she's overqualified as a nurse.
I'll go even further. If she was a man, she would be a damn fine practitioner.
Any opinion about the management?
I don't always agree with Dr. Swansea's reserve, but I must admit he does all he can to keep this facility running during this crisis.
Ah, yes, the burden of command. I was fed up with this concept while serving as a medical officer.
Don't get me wrong. Swansea's a good administrator. I just wish he would get out of his office now and again.
So I'm starting to build a picture. It seems like Swansea doesn't intermingle a lot. Might be because of all his dealings with vampires.
What is the Pembroke Hospital situation?
This hospital...
It's
don't be...
Okay, so that's fine. We've unlocked this. We're going to try and press on it that you are exhausted.
You're exhausting yourself, Corcoran. Maybe you should think about preserving your strength.
No. We must keep on healing all those poor souls. We are the last rampart before chaos. once more unto the breach.
Nurse Brannigan is worried.
Nurse Brannigan is worried about you, Doctor.
She should not have told you that. I will have a word with her.
You don't have to blame her for her honesty.
I'm not that kind of man, my dear Jonathan. Actually, Nurse Brannigan's opinion is the only one I may listen to.
And that's exactly why I said that.
Goodbye, Dr. Tibbets.
Of course, I know all our actions have consequences, sort of thing, but I do at least want to pursue every dialogue option, because every dialogue option could lead a clue. Now, it seemed like there was a man in blue who I assumed to be the porter.
The Pembroke is so lucky to have Dr. Reed, I met him in New York.
If only there were more of us, less resignation and more determination.
I know I can count on you. I wish I could say the same for the others.
You look exhausted. You're pushing yourself too hard. You don't have to bear the burdens of this experiment.
Is it this gentleman? It seems so.
Good evening, sir. I'm Dr. Jonathan Reed. I'm new here.
I've already heard about you, Dr. Reed. I'm Milton Hooks, the ambulance driver for this shithole of a hospital.
That's quite a blunt introduction, Mr. Hooks.
You can call me Milton. I like to speak my mind, Dr. Reed. Perk of the job. Don't judge me, and I won't judge you.
I'm not sure I understand what you're talking about.
Well, I'm no doctor, but I'm pretty sure a gun can't be used as a surgical instrument.
You have a keen eye. I learned to shoot during the war, and have carried one ever since. Old habits die hard.
No need to explain, Dr. Reed. And if you ever need a better gun, remember, I may have something for you.
We can trade. Well, let's talk first. Maybe trades become better.
How is the situation around here?
You want to hear the situation is all right? It's fucking awful. We lack everything, and it's getting worse every day.
So what do you do exactly in this hospital? Apart from smuggling guns, I mean.
I've been an ambulance driver since... too long, I guess. I bring sick people here night and day. It's a dirty job, but I get it done. Most of the time.
Sound like you've had it pretty rough.
It sounds like things have been a bit rough recently. What's happened?
Yesterday I got attacked by the patient I was bringing in. I escaped through the hospital's garden, but I lost my wallet when I was running.
You left an infected patient outside the hospital? That's incredibly dangerous.
Go there yourself if you want, but be careful, Doctor. I'd rather not bring your dead body back.
New investigation. Midnight in the Garden of Good and Evil. Okay.
Since you're on the front line, how is the sanitary situation in this vicinity?
It's a complete disaster. It's even getting dangerous to enter some streets or buildings. Even the locals attack you.
Are you really smuggling weapons through the hospital?
And why not? I've already been attacked by patients, you know. And by gang members willing to steal my money.
But you're not defending yourself. You're selling guns to civilians.
You keep people alive your own way, Doctor. I offer them another way to protect their health.
Fair enough.
I'd like to see your goods.
Wise choice, Dr. Reed. A reliable gun is what everybody needs these days.
Milton's shotgun. 315 shillings just for the gun. But also deals in parts. Grease, screws, aluminum shards, powder, trigger and handle parts. And a few spare bullets and shells. Though to be fair, I've been starting to collect some of my own. Our city needs you. Life saved by effective medical advice is a blow struck at the heart of the flu epidemic. Volunteers make the difference.
Dr. Swansea is right. This place seems perfect to conduct my research. Good evening, sir. Can I help you?
Unless you're here to fix my face. No. I don't think you can help me.
I'm Dr. Reed. I've recently taken the position of head surgeon here. War injuries, am I right?
You guessed right, Doctor. German shell took my pretty little mug right off. But they still call me Thomas Elwood.
How is your stay with us, Mr. Elwood?
Oh, it's bliss. I just escaped death in the trenches to be
Hi,
soothed
Phoenix.
again by the moans of the dying.
Can I ask you precisely why you're a patient here?
It's the pain, sir. The drugs don't work. It just hurts under the scars, if you get my drift.
Can I do anything for your pain?
Nurses gave me a bunch of pills. No effect. Told you. It's like the flames are under my skin, burning away.
Who is treating you? Is someone in particular looking after your case?
Nobody since the old and tired doctor spoke to me. Started to think I was forgotten about. Wouldn't blame you.
You don't seem worried by that.
My face hurts so much more when I smile or cry. I've learned it's easier not to speak. But be assured I'm smiling inside.
Christ. Okay.
Where were you stationed, sir? Did you serve for long?
I really don't want to talk about all this shit.
No offense. I was pushing too much. I served in France myself. I just wanted to know what happened to you.
You were an officer, weren't you? Then I doubt we fought the same war, sir. No offense.
Goodbye for now, Mr. Elwood.
Disgust on every street corner. The daily...
Hi. See me a little better?
Good evening, Mr. Hampton. How do you feel?
Dr. Reed, is it? Oh, Sora, I must apologize for my behavior.
What do you mean?
I was not myself in the factory. Fear and exhaustion made me say awful things to you, I'm afraid.
You remained perfectly nice and polite. A little delirious, perhaps. But who wouldn't be after enduring an abduction?
Thank you, Doctor. That's a relief. Now all I need to do is rest and return to my flock.
Talk about Tom Watts
Do
first.
you know Tom Watts, the bartender from the Turtle? I met him before I found you in the canning factory.
Tom? Yes, of course. Always the helping hand, good old Tom. Without men like him, corruption and despair would have wiped out the East End long ago.
People are still in despair.
How could it be otherwise? The authorities have left us all to rot in this contagious nightmare. No drugs, no advice, nothing. It's a damn shame.
Who should I avoid in this part of town, then? Any particularly evil figures?
Not really. Most men and women are just doing their best. And it's not my habit to speak ill of people I know, Doctor.
What is the general situation in the East End docks?
The situation has always been tough, with a lot of tensions between the gangs and the Dockers Trade Union. The Wet Boot Boys are very nervous since they lost their leader.
Has the gang been threatening you?
Ah, no. I've had this nickname for so long, you know, the sad saint of the East End. No one dares to bug a saint, not even criminals.
Who leads the gang now?
Since Clay Cox went missing, it's his wife Edwina who runs the show, with the assistance of her minion, Booth Digby.
How did you end up in William Bishop's den?
I had received alarming news about his recent behavior. I went to his place, and he refused to let me go.
Why did he abduct you?
William was an alcoholic. His addiction suddenly changed to blood. I don't know why. Just like a patient I met here. This Miss Hawcroft.
You dared to enter this awful place alone. You're a hero, Mr. Hampton. Or a fool.
I'm just a man trying to help his friends, Dr. Reed. William Bishop was a conflicted soul, searching for light.
How do you feel, Mr. Hampton? Medically speaking, I mean.
I feel exhausted. Beyond exhaustion, actually. William drank so much of my blood in his madness. I feel empty.
You're in good hands here. Dr. Swansea is well versed in blood transfusion, and I'm sure he'll take the best care of you.
Thank you, sir. I believe all I need is rest. And then I can go back to the people who need me.
I'm nervous about anyone who's get bitten and then survive by a vampire, because that means that they are potentially a vampire themselves. Though, to be fair, I don't believe that he would be having, like, no effect from the cross around his neck, so I feel like we might be safe-ish in that regard.
Have you made friends since you arrived?
Not really, but I recognize Miss Harriet Jones. I knew her when she lived by the docks. That poor woman had such a miserable life.
You never came to see her here at Pembroke. Receiving visits when sick can be an important part of the healing process, you know. We're not just bodies.
You're preaching to the converted now, Doctor. To be truly honest, I thought she was dead. She left the docks many months ago.
I mean, the other guy, like Swanson, he was aiming the cross at us and it blinded us. It might be that it hit facing away from him is okay, but being so close, I do not know.
What do you do for a living, Mr. Hampton? I can't help but notice the cross around your neck.
I manage a night asylum for the poor and homeless of the docks, and I try to guide the lost and hesitant on the right path to our Lord.
I mean, literally what the guy did was, like, he laid it flat down on the table. But, I don't know.
Are you a priest, Mr. Hampton? A deacon, maybe?
Not at all, Doctor. I'm just a man of faith willing to preach the good word.
Why didn't you use your cross against William Bishop? To repel him somehow?
That's a very strange question, Doctor. A cross is no magical token, if that's what you were trying to say. Not mine, anyway.
Goodbye, Mr. Hampton. We'll talk again later.
Pippa.
Good evening, nurse.
Good evening, Doctor. I don't think we've been introduced yet. My name is Pippa Hawkins.
And I'm Dr. Jonathan Reed. Dr. Swansea has recently offered me a position in this hospital.
Well, it's a euphemism that your help will be appreciated, Doctor.
How would you describe the situation at the Pembroke Hospital?
It's serious. The flu is wreaking havoc amongst the staff and patients. We are running out of everything.
You must get a hold of yourself, nurse.
Sorry, I'm exhausted. No one has any idea when this epidemic will be over.
Nurse Hawkins, the Spanish flu won't last forever. Even the Black Plague didn't kill everyone.
I wish I could believe you. But what if this epidemic was worse? What if in the end, nobody was spared?
How long have you been a nurse?
Well, long enough to see that the epidemic is winning. And no matter how qualified you are, don't tell me you'll change that.
You're right. When dealing with such a terrible disease, one must remain humble. But that doesn't mean we shouldn't try our best.
Sorry, Doctor. I don't want to sound bitter, but I'm just too tired to give a pep talk like Nurse Brannigan.
How is the Pembroke staff coping with the epidemic?
Well, not well. Milton, the ambulance driver, is even more grumpy than usual, especially concerning doctors.
Why does Milton dislike doctors?
I don't know. Just ask him. But be warned, Milton is not the chatty type.
I think I will.
Why is Milton grumpy on a daily basis? Is it just an act?
Milton's not the kind of man who's bothered about a bad reputation, whether he deserved it or not.
His reputation is mediocre across his colleagues. I'm gonna do a medical checkup just to be
Do
sure.
you need medical help yourself, nurse?
I'm fine, really. I just need to sleep.
Goodbye, Nurse Hawkins. It's locked.
Ew, disgust on every street corner.
I hear subtitles of someone.
Good evening, sir. I'm Dr. Reed. I believe we're going to be colleagues.
Reed? Yes, I've been informed about your arrival. I'm Waverly Ackroyd. Welcome aboard, I suppose.
Does my arrival inconvenience you in some way, Dr. Ackroyd?
Let us just say that I don't particularly share Dr. Swansea's enthusiasm for hiring you. What we need here are reliable professionals, not overrated dabblers.
Since your tenure in this hospital is longer than mine, perhaps you can tell me more about this place.
Let's just say I'm tired of the carelessness around me. I have always respected the skills of Dr. Swansea, but over time his enthusiasm has become displaced.
Carelessness? Exactly what are you talking about?
We're here to save lives. The people who trust us are not volunteering for experimentation. They're here to be healed.
I don't intend to run any radical experiments, Doctor. Even if I, as any good practitioner should, express an interest in pushing the boundaries of medical research.
Modern medical methods were created through audacity and ego. But there are rules in our line of work, and they're here to protect our patients.
Okay. He disapproves of modern medical techniques.
If you have a problem with me, Dr. Ackroyd, please feel free to tell me.
Dr. Swansea has imposed your presence on this hospital without asking anyone's advice. The benefit of his position. But I don't agree with it.
I know we've never met before, but I believe this hospital could use all the help it can get. You will agree with that, I'm sure.
Oh, but I have heard about you, Dr. Reed. Of course, you can't say the same about me, since I have not wasted my time courting the press.
There is no need for such animosity between us. Don't you think the epidemic is already enough to deal with?
That is one point we could agree on. And that is precisely why I want to be sure that you will be of help to this hospital, instead of a burden.
That's fair enough.
It seems you have bad memories of your military service.
I refuse to see this industrial slaughter as scientific progress. War only reveals the worst in men.
We can at least agree on something, Dr. Ackroyd. I don't know what you've heard about me, but I have already proved my value as a practitioner.
I don't question your skills, Dr. Reed, but your motive. Is it money, fame, or are you truly dedicated?
And what exactly is that supposed to mean?
I served in the war just like you. But unlike you, I did not use the wounded to play the modern sorcerer.
Be careful what you insinuate, Dr. Ackroyd.
I only want you to admit you used those men to improve your theories.
Knowledge has always been and will remain our main weapon. And it has always come at a price. And personal initiative.
It is not a question of initiative. It is a question of integrity. These men and women have put their faith in us, Dr. Reed.
Thank you for your time. We'll talk later.
Didn't expect such a terse conversation from a colleague, but it's refreshing, in a way, not having everyone just kissing ass, I guess.
Good evening, Doctor. I believe we're going to be working together.
Dr. Reed. Dr. Swansea informed us of your arrival, but I could not dare to believe we'd have such good fortune. Such an honor, sir.
Thank you. And you are?
I am Thoreau Strickland, Dr. Thoreau Strickland. I'm a great admirer of your work, Dr. Reed.
And right back to it.
Please, could you tell me something about yourself?
I'm a great admirer of your work concerning blood transfusion, Dr. Reed. I run my own experiments. I'm convinced it's the future.
What made you choose to be a doctor?
I'm not ashamed to admit you and your work have inspired me. I am honored to have the opportunity to work by your side.
It's always a pleasure to share scientific and medical knowledge with someone eager to learn. I'll be glad to help you if I can.
This epidemic may be the century's most terrible disaster, but I'm convinced that we, as doctors, are the only ones able to defeat it.
I based my technique on my mentor's research. He helped me perfect my method. What is yours?
I'd rather not talk about it. For now, it's just theories and first approach. My process is purely experimental and unsuccessful.
As long as you're cautious and methodical.
Experiments in blood transfusion have not been successful yet. Okay.
You may remain empty-handed, but you won't fail.
You're not the first one to warn me, but I am convinced knowledge
Hey,
is
Mal.
the main weapon against the ravages of this epidemic.
And of that, we agree.
What can you tell me about the Pembroke?
Well, it has always been an honor to work with Dr. Swansea. But with your arrival, I can't think of a better opportunity to learn about blood transfusion.
Do you need help with anything in particular?
Well, yes, maybe. I'm waiting for a batch of products I ordered for my personal research, yet my supplier seems to have vanished.
Do you want me to play the errand boy for you?
Oh no, Dr. Reed. But if you went personally to his shop, what with your reputation and all, he wouldn't dare to refuse the products I need.
I see. Well, give me the address, for I may pass by if I have time. You seem quite optimistic. It's a rare and precious attitude in these difficult times.
I'm convinced that this epidemic is a test of endurance and dedication for us men of science.
Questions remain about our capacity to resolve the situation.
True. Last summer, during the first wave of the epidemic, I used to joke with Milton about the extra work. We're not smiling now.
What do you think of Dr. Ackroyd's aversion to modern medical methods?
It's a shame he's so narrow-minded. Dr. Swansea taught me that science is about exploring uncharted territory. I'm convinced that's true.
With the influenza and all that's going on, you should put your differences aside, don't you think? Why is it so difficult to work together?
I believe that if Dr. Ackroyd had been the one to discover the transfusion process, he would be the first to recommend its use.
So you believe it's just a question of jealousy and pride?
Dr. Ackroyd is as proud as he is blinded by his obsolete concept of medical science.
1919? He might be on coke.
Tell me more about your willingness to experiment with new medical techniques.
Harvey Fiddick is a patient suffering from a severe injury that could cripple him if not treated correctly. I'm convinced your blood transfusion technique could help him.
What is it you really want? To save him? Or to prove your point?
Fair question. I want nothing but to save my patient, Dr. Reed. Especially since I know Mr. Fiddick's story.
Tell me Mr. Fiddick's story.
Our first diagnosis was compromised because Mr. Fiddick lied to us about the real origin of his injury. He first claimed it was an accident.
But why would he hide such crucial information from us?
Because he is a proud father, ashamed of putting his children at risk because of his own negligence.
Unknown health status, but he's blaming himself. Okay. I'm already working through quite a lot of people at the hospital. Pillars. Interesting.
This personal involvement could also appear to be a lack of impartiality. You must know that a good surgeon must remain neutral.
I agree. But that does not excuse Dr. Ackroyd's behavior. A man who did not even take time to converse with his patient.
Do you think keeping his distance was a mistake?
All I know is that I'm taking care of human beings with desires, hopes, and fears. Not some biological machine comprised of blood, bones, and flesh.
Let's do a medical checkup on him, see if he's on
Do
coke.
you need my medical attention, dear colleague?
You don't have to worry about me, Dr. Reed. I am here to assist you, not to be a burden.
Goodbye, Dr. Strickland. Good evening, sir. I'm Dr. Reed. May I help you?
I don't know if a third opinion is needed. Your colleagues are already arguing about my condition.
I see. Would you mind telling me more about your situation?
I'm Harvey Fiddick. All I want is to get me bloody arm fixed properly.
Tell me about yourself, Mr. Fiddick.
I'm just a regular guy waiting to get his arm fixed, so I can return to work and to my family.
I was more curious about what you were doing before being hospitalized.
I'm a carpenter, and a good one too. But that means I need both arms to feed my family, Dr. Reed.
Tell me about the doctors who are arguing about your case.
Strickland and Aykroyd. They both want the best for me, but there's a lot of pride there. Doctors are no different from carpenters, it seems.
What do you mean?
I often had professional arguments with rivals on a building site. Difference is I disagreed about wooden nails, not flesh and bones.
Are you satisfied with your treatment here?
Well, it's clear that I've chosen a bad time to be injured. Forgive my bluntness, but you seem overwhelmed by cases of the flu.
I won't lie to you about it. I'm afraid we are.
Are you sure you don't want to operate yourself, Dr. Reed? I have the feeling you're very capable, and your colleagues seem to think so too.
In other circumstances, you would be right. But for now, I don't think I can take on the responsibility. My apologies. Tell me about your injury, Harvey. Why do you feel so guilty about it?
My wife died because of me. And now I may lose everything because I've been careless enough to hurt myself. What an arsehole.
Harvey's wife died during the war. Fascinating.
How could your job be responsible for your wife's death?
I was working a double. She went out to bring me a hot meal and got caught in a German bomb raid.
You can't hold yourself responsible for your injury, Mr. Fiddick. Unless you tried to hurt yourself.
Of course I didn't hurt myself. But I can't work until my arm is fixed. My children need to eat, Doctor.
Tell me more about the death of your wife, Harvey.
1915. I was in the army. Building workshops for the Royal Flying Corps. Helen was happy I wasn't sent to the front.
What happened?
The Germans sent Zeppelins to bomb the construction site, but they missed their target. My wife was bringing my dinner when the bombs fell.
How are your children after losing their mother?
They were smaller then. The only good thing about this is my Helen didn't bring them with her that night.
I'm sorry for your loss. So many died during the bombings. I served in France and witnessed the carnage there.
I would like to say that she didn't suffer. Truth is, I have no idea. I just know that I'm all that me kids have. Poor little bleeders.
Is there anything else that's bothering you? Can I help in any way?
I'm all right. Considering the state of this place, I should consider myself lucky, I guess.
It's not terribly wrong.
Goodbye for now, Mr. Fiddick. I'll see you later.
You always knew the words to calm the children, Ellen. As for me, what a blundering idiot.
Not get the life stories of all these sad sacks? Well, too bad! Long letter. Oh, God. This is... Lucy, Paul, Mom and Dad. Alright. I'm not gonna read the whole... Oh, Pippa Hopkins. Okay. Pippa is thinking about quitting. See? Got the TLDR.
Good evening, Dr. Tibbets.
Dr. Reed, any good news to share?
I don't think I've learned anything new enough.
Goodbye.
Disguised as a hospital. That's Pembroke nowadays.
Good evening, Nurse Hawkins.
Good evening, Dr. Rick.
Pepper, are you sure you want to leave this hospital?
To become a nurse was a little girl's dream. But in the end, I don't feel that useful. I want more. I want to make things change.
You should be proud of what you've achieved. This hospital represents hope for many people in need of help.
Maybe you're right. But at the moment, I feel like we're just a cemetery waiting room.
Goodbye, Nurse Hawkins.
Where did that patient go?
Oh, please spare me, Dark Queen. Spare your obedient slave.
I have wasted too much energy for so little result.
What the fuck's going on here? Excuse me?
Good evening, miss. I'm Dr. Reed, the new surgeon at the Pembroke Hospital. And who are you?
Your name has no meaning to me, mortal. You're nothing but dust blown by the winds of eternity.
I beg your pardon?
What are you begging for, mortal? My clemency? Well, tonight maybe I'm inclined to mercy. You'll never forget the night you met Thelma Howcroft.
You keep calling me mortal. Why is that? And if I'm mortal, what are you?
Well, Dr. Reed, if you must know, I'm a vampire.
I'm assuming you must be a patient here. Am I right, Miss Howcroft?
It's only a cover to hide from my enemies. I can leave whenever I want. As a woman, a spirit, fog, or bat.
Lol.
Who are these enemies you mentioned? Can you describe them?
I cannot say for sure. But I sense their eyes on me from nearby. I feel them watching me every time I visit the garden near the morgue.
Again, that garden comes up.
The staff here are not your enemy. They're here to help you, to care for you.
I'm not speaking of the doctors in white. I'm speaking of the men and women who hunt me. For I am a vampire.
I see. Don't worry. These people will not find you here. I'll personally make sure they leave you alone.
Thank you, mortal. But do not interfere with them, for you are no match for those that hunt me.
Okay, wrong target. New investigate. What am I investigating? Oh, Lord.
And why do you believe you're a vampire?
I don't need to believe anything. It is what I am. It is what I feel within this hollow shell of flesh.
Have you ever heard of Cotard syndrome?
I see. Have you ever heard of Cotard syndrome, Miss Howcroft?
Never.
It's a mental illness discovered by a French neurologist named Jules Cotard. The affected patients are delusional. They believe that they are putrefying, that they are dead, a ghost or a ghoul, or in your case, a vampire.
Delusional, you say? Oh, sad and petty mortal. You can't even begin to understand the concept of immortality. And you think it is I who am delusional.
Yes.
Please, describe to me how you feel. What is it like to be a vampire?
I can hear my body crumble from the inside as my flesh cracks and fades. I sense the last pulse of pustulant blood within my drying veins.
Do you require my services, Miss Howcroft?
I have no need for your medicine, Dr. Reed. Blood is the only drug I need.
Okay. Are we gonna follow up with any personal questions? Who are you really?
Who are you really, Miss Howcroft? I mean, apart from being a vampire.
Is that not enough for you, puny mortal? What do you require? Proof of my powers?
I'm curious to know who you were before becoming a vampire.
No, it's such a long time ago, I don't remember. Centuries of unholy life can have strange effects on one's minds, you see?
Yeah, she's bullshitting. Okay. That's all I needed to hear to know she's bullshitting. Okay. Oh, give her some blood. Make her drink it. That'd be a good idea.
I'll leave you, Mistress of the Dark, to your nocturnal activities.
Daily routine.
Just searching around for, well, a few things, truthfully. Merchants. The backyard garden. Is this it?
Scowl voices in the garden. I should investigate. If they were to find somebody.
Keep forgetting there's stamina here. I'll need skull blood. Refill myself. Twice over. But that shouldn't kill, right? Or is that like a cutscene thing? At any rate, use senses to find the wallet. Hopefully. Get off, get off, get off, get off. Give me that blood. Okay. Doing well so far. Okay. Well then, that certainly dealt with that issue, didn't it? A photography of a smiling, loving couple with a few words written on the back. Milton and Pippa forever.
So, Mr. Hooks and Nurse Hawkins are an item. Those two have hidden their affections well.
and bullets. Very nice. Rooting around in garbage. Who throws a lead plate in the garbage? Anyways. Is this part of the hospital still? And if so, is this an abandoned sector? They have to spice it up somehow. That is true. Even the best tasting meat needs some salt and pepper. Influenza, frequently complicated with pneumonia. To prevent any case of Spanish flu, stay at home.
Good evening, Milton.
Good evening, Doctor. Still trying to save lives?
Yes.
I have some good news, Milton.
What? The epidemic's over?
I retrieved your wallet with all the money and a certain picture.
Well, yeah, Pippa Hawkins is my girl. So what? Is it the difference of skin colour that bothers you?
Not at all, Milton.
Good.
Okay.
Easy. Take this money anyway. To remind you to keep your mouth shut. Not everybody is as broad-minded as you, Dr. Reed.
I guess it's nice for this newly turned guy to hold on to his humanity all, but maybe I don't want to see the... What, you want me to go for an all-kill run? Is that what you're thinking?
What's going on between you and Nurse Hawkins?
Pippa's tired. Tired of all this shit. Tired of all those corpses piling up. She's as depressed as I am.
During the war, I witnessed a few couples just like you come together in difficult circumstances. It can be very damaging.
Maybe you're right. But we support each other. And that's all that matters.
You do realize you could both get fired. Hospital staff are not meant to have intimate relationships with one another.
Come on, Dr. Reed. Do you know how many rules are broken in this hospital every day just to keep it running? There's nothing wrong with what we're doing.
Do you know that Nurse Hawkins is thinking of leaving the hospital?
That's not a surprise. We've talked about it already.
Does it not bother you?
Sometimes I think she may be right. We should run away while we can. Question is, where can we go? Where is it safe?
Maybe after an hour of pulling the life stories out of every man and woman bunched in eye shot, a bloodbath route is what I want.
Goodbye, Milton.
Oh, well. There it is with... I want to find Harriet. Nurses are needed now. Da, 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 da. Do not don't cough in public. Do not. If you cough in public, so help me God, you will be shot.
Not now.
I cannot enter.
So I just realized it's kind of fucked that, like... What is this? It's the second floor. Huh. Yeah, but these stories are interesting, at least to me. Having a vampire poser. When you're literally a vampire trying to figure shit out is hilarious. Use hacksaw. Oh my god. Okay, this instantly got better. Hold it. Hold it. $58, $15, $15, $65. Okay. Go with the hacksaw. Elwood's medical file. Patient's face heavily burned, triggered by a bomb. Scars are clean. Persisting nerve damage. Guilted survivor, faint in pain. Found a bottle of cheap gin in a small empty bottle. Dr. Tippett, Strickland, and Ackroyd. Are they also...
It's locked, all right.
Are they also kind of mad because I have my own office? Or wait, let's...
Good evening, Mr. Elwood.
Evening.
How close are you to Miss Horcroft? Are you aware that she thinks she is a vampire?
To wait for her next nibble is the best reason to stay here. Every time she approaches my bed, she treats me like something tasty. A normal person.
Aren't you afraid? She may hurt you if the game goes too far.
She's quite harmless, I can assure you. Her head's broken inside is all. While I'm busted on the outside. But she's still beautiful. Living proof that there's hope for me.
So do you let him?
Thomas sees Thelma Howcroft as living proof there is hope for him. Interesting.
Bite you? You know that's not sanitary.
And why not? She's only supping a few drops of me blood. And the pain, it's real for once.
She could decide to bite less willing patients.
Then it's another good reason for me to stay here, Doctor.
You do realize she's mentally disturbed. It's called the Cotard syndrome. She truly believes she's a vampire.
In her madness, she never refers to my scars. And frankly, if I could, I'd join her world. It seems much more fun than the real one.
Oh, this guy wants to be a Nosferatu. Okay. Got it. Got it.
Goodbye for now, Mr. Elwood.
Damn. The pain. It's here again.
A giant morgue disguised as a hospital.
I did not manage to find... At least I don't think I did. Hang on. Reach the pharmacy. Find out who's spying on Emma. Yeah, there's at least 5 people at this hospital I have not managed to meet yet, but... Are there yet more people at this hospital? It's a good question. Just like why people call the third floor the second floor in England. And yet, I was directed to my office clearly on the second floor. Explain that.
It's locked, all right. This must be the place. It's definitely away from prying eyes. Relegated to the shadows. A kingdom of my own. At least I won't be sleeping in a coffin.
Seems like there's very clearly a note. Articles on Ekans. Privilege to approach a vampire. A few vampires, or Ekan, as they call themselves. A vampire can act and move like a mortal. Trained eye. On a few occasions, I've seen a vampire move so quickly as if they vanished just to appear somewhere else. A cat-like attribute allows them to run, dodge, or jump farther and faster than us. Such speed seems to exhaust them. Mesmerism. Bend a mortal to their will and even break a mind. The more the subject tries to resist, the more permanent the damage would be, as if the vampire could literally fracture a psyche. The same vampire explained to me that this ability required time to master, and that the result could vary wildly depending from one subject to another. Implant a false memory, erase a painful one. Possibilities are endless and frightening. And blood awareness. This may be the most catastrophic ability of all concerning vampires, since it is the cause of so many tragedies for them and us. They crave for blood. They must use their will to restrain themselves from frenziedly drinking every drop of blood they can see. They need blood to function, to express their full supernatural traits. A famished vampire can be very weak, even if he cannot die of hunger or thirst. This urge, this need for blood may explain why a vampire is so roused by it. A vampire confessed to me that the blood could sometimes blind him, since the smell and attractiveness could be so strong. When he focuses, a vampire can almost see blood all around them, inside warm bodies, through walls, on a supposedly cleaned weapon, etc. The same vampire even told me that he can see if a mortal has clean blood or is ill, and that in some cases he can even sense diseases, infected clothes, or even items in a room. If this is true, it could have so many medical applications it beggars belief. Dragonbane? What am I loading? What did I acquire? Oh. New fit? I'm not sure about the bowler cap, I'll be honest with you. Okay, it's literally just changing into an alternate outfit. That's very strange and unexplained, but okay.
The flower's dying. It needs water.
Can I bring it a glass of water? Is there anywhere to collect water, even? I have many glass vials. Analyze to view blueprints. Light regeneration serum? So hold on. Vial, watery, sturdy blood sample. Ferrous tartrate. What is tartrate? Obviously it's iron, but... And sodium hypochlorite solution. of which it seems we need quite a bit. In general. Dragonbane. What the fuck? This ancient sword with the Latin phrase engraved on the blade has been forged in Wales during the 6th century and belonged to Paulus Aurelius, founder of the Brotherhood of St. Paul's Stole. Legend says he had this blade forged before he chose the path of exile and left England with his people. Dragonbane has been passed to each new primate of the Brotherhood, and may have been used in secret ceremonies when a primate was sent on the path of war to defeat a hostile creature. The sacred sword was supposedly lost during the schism between the Brotherhood and the Guard of Pruin in the middle of the 19th century. It seems a few copies may have been made, but this is the true and original Kingbane. And I also, or Dragonbane, we've got Barker. Nicknamed Barker because the noise produced when firing in the shape of its large muzzle. This pistol was conceived, crafted, and held by Carl Eldritch, second leader of the Guard of Pruin. Heavy, not very accurate, and supplied with a customized magazine, it is a gun designed to quickly make big holes in its target. Carl Eldritch has to be buried with his gun so as to be able to shoot himself in case a vampire would trick him by somehow offering him the poisonous gift of immortality. However, the gun was mysteriously stolen before a funeral, never to be seen again. Well, I know what we're doing.
William Bishop's blood is much more unstable than human blood and shows extensive mutation. But this is not what happened to me. I must keep on searching. The sun is about to rise. I can feel it. I'll continue tomorrow night. I have so much time now.
I do have so much time, and yet I can't help but want to find this Harriet. Or was it... Hang on. Let me check through the patients again.
I cannot enter.
So I'm hearing it down here.
Good evening, Miss Howcroft. How are you tonight?
I need blood, Doctor. Warm, rich, vibrant blood.
Tell me, Thelma, why do you feel so attached to Mr. Elwood? Why him?
I'm not sure, Doctor. I think we have a bond of some sort. We've both suffered so much. He's the only mortal I find interesting.
Do you plan to make him a vampire too?
Of course not. How could I inflict my curse on anybody else? I'm not that cruel, Doctor.
Would you say you and Mr. Elwood are romantically involved?
No. No, Thomas is a delicate soul. Even though he disguises it. But I am not the woman he needs. No, for I am a vampire, Doctor.
I'll leave you, Mistress of the Dark, to your nocturnal activities.
I'm insanely curious. I'm gonna... Can someone Google how to get to Harriet?
Good evening, Dr. Strickland.
And good evening to you.
Good.
I also hear a telephone.
Thelma Howcroft said she was being watched by vampire hunters. Where are they hiding? I should investigate.
I'm sorry you ended up on my plain and cold medical bench, sir. I understand you must be very angry about their situation. I managed to arrange to have you buried in the same mass grave as your wife. I hope that might help.
Good evening. I'm Dr. Reed.
Always a pleasure to meet a colleague, sir. Especially when he was supposedly dead.
A colleague? Are you a doctor too?
Not anymore, sir. I used to be Dr. Rakesh Chadana. Now, I'm just Mr. Chadana, pawnbroker and humble guardian of this morgue.
What do you mean, you used to be a doctor? Was your license revoked?
No, sir. It is just that I like to be precise. I run a little pawn shop while taking care of the dead. But I used to be a real doctor.
Have we met before?
I don't think so, sir. Why?
When we first talked, you said you were glad to meet me since I was reported dead.
Funny story, sir. Your sister came here a few nights ago. You were missing, and she was looking for your body. She must be very relieved now.
Ouch.
Are you afraid or uneasy being surrounded by so many corpses?
Why should I? These bodies are empty vessels. Flesh left to decay. Poof. No soul anymore. All gone.
How did you get this job?
After I left the army, I worked as an undertaker down by the docks. A dangerous place with many an unpleasant business there. Milton Hooks helped me get a job here.
An interesting point of view. And quite an exotic one, too. Most people fear, or at least have respect, for dead flesh.
Sir, as a medic during the war, I learned to face my death and the death of others. It's the pain we have to tame, not death itself.
Tame pain, not death. And he's not afraid.
Do you work here alone?
Yes, very easy work, sir. All I have to do is watch a few bodies. The situation was very different when the main morgue was still open.
Why close the hospital's main morgue?
It was for sanitary reasons after the beginning of the epidemic. Cadavers had to be moved to the nearest mass grave.
Why do you have to watch these bodies?
Because these poor fellows have no names. We keep them in case someone comes looking for the missing. Sadly, very rarely happens.
A pawnbroker? I expect you get all types of people here.
Yes, sir. All kind of people. For I sell all kind of goods.
Who comes here to trade with you? It's very unhygienic, even unsafe. Diseases can spread. For the customers, for the hospital.
I'm very cautious, sir. I've been a doctor, remember? And all my clients are good people. In fact, I think I only know good people.
That's a very positive outlook on life. I like that.
What kind of goods?
With the quarantine, it's not always easy to buy things. So I trade, I exchange. Some people sell, some others buy. I like to help.
That didn't answer the question.
Since you're not afraid of dying, do you believe in life after death, Rakesh?
No. I believe we must do all the good we can while alive. For our time is short, and the obstacles are endless.
Do you think you would enjoy immortality as a concept?
I don't think so. Don't mistake me. I love life, and I'd like to live a long life. But everything has to decay, sir. Even goodwill.
Do you really believe goodwill cannot last?
As I said, sir, everything decays. If I was to never die, goodness, I would be bored or worse. And I like to be helpful, sir.
Quite depressing, wouldn't you say?
Yes, but the good news is we'll all die before losing our humanity, sir.
Ha 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 ha. Not only that, double ha ha, because I did die and lost my humanity. And now I'm undead.
So you're ready to die?
No, I'm not. I don't fear death, for I won't see it. What troubles me is the pain my death will inflict to those I know.
You're a wise man, Mr. Chidama.
No, Dr. Reed. I am a foolish man. But I like to think otherwise.
Please show me what you have to sell.
Of course. It's just trinkets and curios, really. But I'm sure they can be useful.
An enigmatic formula. Written on a piece of paper seems complex and needs to be analyzed. Oh! Codeine and opium. Okay. Hell of a start. I'm really fascinated about what the enigmatic formula could be. Guys, back at the napkin calculations and some hard drugs. Hell yeah. But let's be real though. This is like the time for it, right? Like 1919. Like that's definitely it. But I don't judge. Now, here's the interesting thing. It's never really worth it to sell bullets. It's never worth it to sell these. So I'm just looking at the enigmatic formula, right? And I'm like, this feels like something they'll need eventually. But also, I don't know. I think I'm gonna hold off because I feel like it's something that I'll need come later, perhaps. Okay, so what did you say earlier? The guide says the door is locked in the past but should be open now. And which door? Down the hall past Thomas and near Sean Hompton. So it's gotta be this door, which is why we were hearing her there. Which makes sense. Okay, so there's only two real options. Is to keep pushing on. Or go to bed. I'm going to at least try and see if I can do something about these. If I get caught out in sunlight and burned to death, that's my own hubris.
I'm sorry you ended up like plain and cold medical. I understand you must be very angry about this unfair situation. I managed to arrange to have you buried in safe.
We were musing about how would someone be able to spy on Thelma. And I think the thing that was mentioned was like, where would someone hide? And my first thought is like, in these buildings. Right? Can I get up to the rooftops? Maybe from over here? I think everything is too brightly lit, or it's not quite the right way. Let's try going around here. Your king country needs you. Should I even be in here? I think we could do there. Oh, hey, nice. I could literally hear like blood pounding in my ears. Hi. Sword time is the best time. And then have a little sippy. Aluminum powder. Prewin agents, huh? Guard of Prewin Command Post. Vampire Activity Hospital Survey Investigate. One of our new recruits heard a rumor about the presence of a female vampire hiding in the Pembroke Hospital. All we have is our first name, Thelma. Your mission is to discreetly go there and observe any suspicious activity concerning said leech. Report directly back to us, and then we'll decide what action should be taken. Find the local command post. Huh. Small bag of junk. Just want to comb through this room carefully. I think Prewin is getting led on. I think the rumor they're following up on, but the reason that these guys are still here is because they couldn't see shit that was, like, suspicious. Because she was just kind of nibbling on a few thing. That's a long way. I'm hesitant to, like, pursue this as far as I am. Whitechapel. I haven't heard great things even... Yeah. Even more dark. Curfew will be sounded at 9 p.m. Keep off the streets until 5 a.m. Citywide curfew. Wear your mask. If any member of your household becomes ill, inform the authorities. Do the curfew not opened after 9 p.m. Did that say level 18? Okay. All of a sudden, the goddamn stakes have been raised. Drained of blood. Now, I'll be honest. I kind of want to, like, grab blood from this guy and then dip. Might not have been a smart idea to run headlong at him. He does have the same idea. Suffering is part of the immortal condition. It will never stop. Okay, I'm gonna stop. If I can find, like, in another direction, an area that is much easier, I will contemplate it. But right now, we're not doing too hot, so we're gonna leave. The Buddhists were right. Oh, come on. I wonder what Buddhism would say about vampirism. Is it just really short reincarnation? What would vampires be learning in the cycle of Dharma? It's a woman who was attacked. Level 14, equally unappealing prospects considering there's a lot of them. If I go back to the garden, will the skull have respawned, I wonder? Or are they defeated? Seems like they're permanently defeated. Which does make sense, right? But also, would have loved to got one up on them. But I think all I'm going to have to do is I'm just going to have to progress the story beat. I don't know. That's a risky jump. I guess I'll do it. I was gonna say, doesn't this drain blood? Tactical advantage? Anyways, enough messing about. Go to my office. Rest until the next night. Rest with a sword and a gun, nestled betwixt my pillows. Okay. Bloodspear's been working out great for us. Okay, let me read that back again. You will block your target's blood in their veins, making them defenseless. Oh my god. And that costs no blood to do that? Deadass. Target's blood will now burst out of their body, flowing towards your mouth to feed you without touching your prey. Level 6 required for better autophagy. Shadow Veil seems incredible. Need level 5. That is not that far off. You just need to save 500 or so. Life regeneration when you bite in combat. Do that. I seem to remember us going for a bite build. Oh, when you spend points, it levels you up. Pardon me. Okay. Shadow Veil. You can carry more syringes on you. More bullets. Is it? This is literally just upgrade bullets. Upgrade syringes. How boring must you be? Yeah, I evolved nothing else but a bag. What the fuck? Anyways. Anyways, we can do a lot of stuff now if we so wished. No, do not cancel. Confirm.
If I'm to stay here until my research is complete, I'd better learn to hide my true nature from the mortals. But what about my thirst for blood?
Oh, hang on. Help them cope with the epidemic.
I'm not one to make wait, Doctor. I've patients to attend.
Yes, Nurse Crane? How can I help you?
I'm so sorry. I know Dr. Swansea wanted you to rest, but we have somewhat of a crisis.
A crisis, you say?
Our supply of antiseptics is nearly depleted. I was hoping there was another box up here, but...
sorry. There's nothing here.
Some of the patients won't last the night without them. Honestly, sir, I'm beside myself.
I may have a solution. In France, during the war, drugs shortage was a daily problem, and we had to use our wits to overcome the shortages.
However do you mean?
If combined correctly, certain household chemical products can be used in a pinch instead. Now, where's the hospital storeroom?
The storeroom? Fat chance. This is the Pembroke, and space is luxury we don't have. Everything used to be stored in the old morgue.
Perhaps I should look there first. Where is this morgue?
It's the large building behind the hospital. You'll need to go in the back door because it's been sealed off for sanitary reasons. Take this key. It opens a small back entrance at the end of a narrow street.
The abandoned morgue behind the hospital. A small door at the end of a narrow street. On my way then. Thank you, nurse.
Okay. We're also going to change targets on investigations. Because we're not going to do this for a while. We're going to track the pharmacy. We're going to keep going on the main story beat. Only if we happen to grow close. Small bottles. Could check.
It's locked.
Hello again, Doctor.
Goodbye, Mr. Ham.
I wish I could be sick again.
Wanted to check on whether I could see Harriet or not. Seemed to be no.
It's locked, all right.
Before we go in, check around. That's where I found the wallet. When looking for a citizen, don't forget your vampiric senses, your eagle vision. The old morgue. Find quinine, sodium hypochlorite, and ferrous tartrate. Blood. I thought it was a pile of corpses I was seeing, but... well, I'm seeing something for darn sure. I'll be honest, I would be keeping my sword and my gun out here. Who knows what's infested the place? I heard a snarl. Shillings. This is old silicon medical tubing. That's what we're seeing a lot of. Someone was doing a lot of work in blood injections here in the morgue. I think I might have accidentally just gone back outside. Hopefully the door will not be locked. Okay. Alright, let's take a hint. 2 of the 3 things are upstairs, 1 is down. Yeah, okay. Yep, this is not at all surprising. I need all of your blood. Get off of me, Jesus. Give me that refill, bitch.
Behavior is similar to the infected William Bishop. Must be the same strain. This sickness moves faster than influenza.
Quinine. Good. Shillings. Okay. Seemed like there was more than 2 there, but okay.
It's locked.
Bullets off a dead person. More bullets than I'll probably be able to fire, honestly.
This key will surely grant me access to the basement.
Whatever is the 3rd thing with the basement, they really wanted me to see it last. Thank God the doctor has better situational awareness than I do. More quinine, courtesy of the patient.
Balls of Mars, fortifiers. As popular as they are ineffective. But they do contain iron tartrate, and that might prove itself useful.
I'm gonna inspect the 3rd floor before we go down to the basement. Oh, sorry. The 2nd floor. Watery, rich blood sample. What the fuck was that? Well, I know what. I know it was a vampire.
These skulls feed from corpses and the husks of animals. They're not after blood.
First, tartrate and quinine. One of the skull ran in this way. I was meant to see that. Okay, things became more dangerous. Get off! It'd also be helpful if the camera would cooperate. Use listed knife. A new type of offhand weapon. Equip it and press Y to directly absorb blood. To be honest, I'd probably use that.
It's locked.
Local investigation. New citizen investigation. Displayed here. The harder they fall. Find out cause of death. Samuel Connor. Caucasoid. Male, 39. Address unknown. Occupation fisherman. Natural death. Fast progressing pneumonia by virus-induced pulmonary consolidation. Spanish influenza. Tippets. Gwyneth Brannigan.
Mr. Connor's injuries don't match the report. I'd better look into this. The chest was originally open to perform the operation. The sutures are clean, but the chest has been reopened. Traces of a pinkish foam at the corner of the lips. Some sort of drug overdose, perhaps? Multiple abrasions and scarring on the arms and legs. Old and distinctive injuries of a sailor or a fisherman. A puncture over the left lung, possibly a chest tube insertion. Not the cleanest work, but I think it was successful. Signs of internal bleeding. So, Dr. Tippett's anesthetics were incorrectly dosed, causing the patient's death. And then, he tried to operate on him again. Tippett has made an egregious error. It's time we talked.
It's also possible we could just not. Like, that is an option. John Doe. He's manipulating shadows. Not the real him. That's why it's nullified.
I'm not sure I can defeat them without becoming stronger. To drink blood is so tempting.
No. We don't do it. And that's the trick. That's the trade-off. We can see to the man. Like, if we manage to drink Dr. Swanson's blood, that is 6,000. That is a full high-level upgrade there, or several smaller ones.
Sodium hypochlorite. Dangerous to administer, but efficient in the proper dosage.
And that's the trick. It's like death in, I feel like I already mentioned this point, but it's like death in Sir Bronte. Gives you a lot of stats when used right. Oh, an enigmatic formula. Hell yeah. Okay. Looks like we didn't need the one from the guy after all. Allow me to come up here. Why? You have enough coins to craft a medicine treatment for fatigue. I do. But I can't. Interesting. They open treatments. For cold, for bronchitis, and for pneumonia. And a watery rich blood sample analyze gives me a blood serum. Okay. It's interesting how there's no main quest currently listed, which makes me think that the vampire that we saw is gonna do that. Is gonna come out and spook us in some major way. Now, I'm gonna throw out a prediction because well, I'll throw out a prediction as far as where I think the story might be going once this battle is done, because I don't want to fuck it up too badly. Which... change that. Okay. Put a man down. Watch. So, when you're talking about stories written about vampires and vampirism, my thought went to Code Vein as another example of vampirism being written into the story, right? But there's obviously like Code Vein's story is not about vampirism really. It starts that way as a framing device, but then there's more going on. So my belief is that they're going to try and tie in the Spanish flu somehow into this, or that somehow, like, whoever infected us needs our help on the vampire side to prevent a supernatural calamity that's tied both to the Spanish flu and the vampire condition. So that's basically what I'm spitballing, is like, there's something that connects them, and whatever it is that connects them is gonna, like, once we have a solution for that, that's when we get a breakthrough of the Spanish flu at the end. And we science the shit out of the epidemic, that's right. So, I also have... This costs a little in blood. I can literally shadow cloak around now. Okay, the treatment for fatigue is literally what we were designed to create. Treatment for fatigue is antiseptic. Anyways, I keep running up 2 flights of stairs, thinking I need to go to the 2nd floor. We're gonna go interrogate first. Oh.
I cannot enter.
Reminded me of this to look for people. Why?
Good evening, Nurse Brannigan.
Good evening, Doctor.
Why does Dr. Tippett's claim you're the main reason he keeps working, despite his fatigue?
If it wasn't for him, I probably would have left the Pembroke years ago.
Dr. Tippett does not think of you as just a nurse anymore, does he?
If you're suggesting he's not taking my gender into consideration when it comes to medical practice and knowledge, I really hope he doesn't.
Tell me what Dr. Tippett did. I know his mistake caused a patient's death.
If I had not covered up his error, Dr. Tippett would have been fired from this hospital. I could not let that happen.
You can't allow your emotions to dictate your conduct concerning patients, Nurse Brannigan.
Look around you, Dr. Reed. Do you really think we can afford to lose a brilliant practitioner like Dr. Tippett's in our situation?
I'm gonna go for sympathetic here.
I can't say I approve of what you did. But as a field surgeon, I know that some situations require you to bend the rules.
I'm not proud of what I've done, but to contain the epidemic must be our priority, so we can't afford to lose Dr. Tippett.
Goodbye, nurse. me. What a blundering idiot.
I'm quite busy right now.
Thank...
Where is Dr. Tibbets? Maybe that's why I need to search for him. I'm crying. Strickland. Unknown. This is one reason why we don't know. Is this Tibbets?
Good evening, Dr. Tibbets.
It is.
Dr. Reed, any good news to share?
Fortunately not.
Corcoran, I want you to tell me about Mr. Connor. How did he die? What happened?
He was my patient. He died because of my mistake. That's the blunt truth.
What was the nature of the mistake?
It was a twofold error. My diagnosis was wrong, and the administered dosage was too strong.
Who was this patient?
I don't know. Some sick man from the docks, maybe a fisherman. I had no time to talk with him. No one claimed a body.
Why not stop practicing?
Are you mad? I killed that man, I admit it, and it won't happen again.
I will cover for you, Dr. Tibbets, by keeping what happened to Mr. Connor to myself.
I don't know what to say, actually. I can't exactly force you to become my accomplice.
You didn't force me. This is my decision to make. I believe you're still of use to the hospital, considering the situation.
Then I can make you this promise. As soon as the epidemic is eradicated, I will resign.
Four of 5 hints unlocked. I'm learning a lot. For better or worse.
Goodbye, Doc.
Finally, you've returned, Doctor. Did you find anything of value?
Yes, nurse.
You've worked your first miracle, Doctor. Now, this patient here needs immediate treatment.
Duty calls? When the storm has passed, I'll show you how to mix the remedy yourself with the same basic ingredients.
Many thanks, Doctor. When you've finished, you ought to report to Dr. Swansea in his office. He's been looking for you. Seemed pressing.
Diseases decrease the blood quality of a citizen. Use the correct medicine to heal them. Speak to the patient in the room to check his medical status. A rat in the hospital.
Good evening, madam. Can I help you?
It's my son who needs you, sir.
I'm Dr. Jonathan Reed. How can I help your son?
I'm Beatrice Goswick, mother of Mortimer Goswick. Could you check on him, please, Dr. Reed? I've heard much of your talents as a physician.
What do you think of your reception here? Any complaints?
I have had the uttermost reservations about this hospital since we arrived. But we had no other choice, considering the state of emergency.
Is there something in particular that's bothering you?
Some of the staff were not especially welcoming. I suspect they're not accustomed to dealing with patients of such social standing.
What can you tell me about yourself, Mrs. Goswick?
Not much to say. Just take care of my Mortimer and I'll...
Are you really that rich? Most of the patients here are of a more humble origin, if I may say so.
Yes, thanks to my husband. May he rest in peace. I can cover any needed medical expenses.
May I ask if you have an occupation, Mrs. Goswick?
I'm a teacher by profession. I teach young women who are more ambitious about their futures than their families.
Tell me more about your arrival at the Pembroke Hospital. What gave you such a bad first impression?
The ambulance driver was quite rude, for a start. And that nurse, Miss Hawkins, seems to have quite a dubious attitude.
What do you mean?
She managed to secure a bed for my son despite the epidemic. It was a relief, but it wasn't cheap.
Safe bed for patients who can pay.
She charged you for a bed?
Yes, and I paid without question, considering the urgency of the situation.
I share your concern, Mrs. Goswick. Be sure that I'll talk to the people involved.
I don't expect compensation, Dr. Reed. But I'm aware such behavior would not be tolerated in other hospitals.
Goodbye, Mrs. Goswick. Good evening. I'm Dr. Reed. Can I help at all?
No.
Really? Why are you here then?
I don't want to talk. My throat hurts too much.
I suppose that this pain is the reason you're here. Is someone taking care of you?
Yes. And no.
Could you at least tell me your name, sir?
Mortimer. Mortimer Goswick.
Check the medical status.
Do you need any help?
I'm afraid I may, sir. I don't mean to be a burden.
You are not a burden, sir. Healing you is my responsibility.
And you have my gratitude for that.
Okay. Treatment for fatigue given.
Tell me about yourself, Mr. Goswick.
I don't want to talk, Doctor.
How painful is your throat, Mr. Goswick?
So painful I'd rather not talk at all, Doctor.
I'm sure you realize a doctor and his patients have to communicate, sir. Would it help if I gave you some paper and a pen?
Not really.
I see. Then maybe it's not just your throat that hurts, Mr. Goswick. Perhaps your sore throat is just the consequence of something more hurtful.
Yes, maybe. But I don't want to talk or even write about it now.
Why did your mother have you hospitalized here? She seems convinced this is a bad hospital.
My mother just wants the best for me. She won't rest while I'm here. She'd go all the way to hell and back to help me.
Pembroke Hospital may look unorthodox, but rest assured you're in good hands here.
It's not me you have to convince, Dr. Reed. It's my mother.
Is your mother bothering you? As your doctor, I can ask her to leave you alone if you would prefer.
That's tempting, Doctor. But you have no idea what my mother is capable of. She would tie herself to my bed if you asked her to leave.
I have to go now, sir. But don't hesitate to contact me if you need any help.
Don't waste your time with me.
Good evening, Doctor.
Goodbye, Miss.
Literally can't do that. Blood temptation. Remember, Citizen's Blood will provide you a massive XP boost. No.
Good evening, Nurse Hawkins.
Good evening, Dr. Reed.
What steps are you prepared to take to feel more useful?
I don't know yet. My sister believes that the real fight is in the streets nowadays. Maybe she's right. Maybe this is what I must do.
And what about Milton Hooks? Does he share your point of view?
For Milton, Any change means more comfort and more peace. I disagree.
If you feel that saving lives is not useful enough, perhaps it means that you've lost faith.
On the contrary, my faith has never been stronger. Maybe we are all just too proud to face up to the fact that science cannot compete with God.
The voice. When you say the voice, do you mean like his, like this voice?
Pepper, I know you're very close to Milton Hooks.
Yes, Milton Hooks is my man. If you want to report me for that, just feel free, Doctor.
I have no intention of reporting you, Nurse Hawkins, but are you aware of the risks?
The rules say I won't be allowed to work as a nurse anymore. But here at the Pembroke, we break rules all the time.
Is he worth the risk?
Hey, I'm no perfect woman, and Milton is not the finest bloke, but we do our best to get by. That's all any of us can hope for nowadays.
I hear someone shouting for help. Did anyone else hear that? Like, please, someone help? Oh, that man has fatigue. Can I craft another... I need to see if I can craft another cure. I would prefer to help the man. I know he stabbed someone. But still. Okay, I can make another cure for fatigue. I probably should make even yet another, but I don't want to be too presumptuous. Helping one man is enough. Is it you? Were you calling for help?
Please, sir. I need help bad.
What's going on?
I'm Blight, sir. Newton Blight. I've lost my mate. Can't find him anywhere.
I'm Dr. Jonathan Reed from the Pembroke Hospital. Please, calm down and give me more details.
Oswald and myself were both infantry, sir. We were en route for the hospital, but we had a disagreement. And Oswald ran off towards the canal.
How long have you been searching for him?
I can't go there. Too many rats by the water. Fucking rats. Can't stand them since the war, sir. Can't stand them at all.
Don't be ashamed, Mr. Blight. Many soldiers who survived.
Is it possible this missing friend is like the guy who got shanked?
The trenches suffer from musophobia. I'll see what I can do for your friend. What can you tell me about your friend?
His name is Oswald Thatcher. We survived the war together. Oswald is nervous and quite fragile since we came back from the war.
Where was your friend the last time you saw him?
He went down by the canal. He didn't want to go to the hospital. I think he went to the sewers on purpose. So I couldn't go after him.
What can you tell me about yourself?
I'm Oswald's best friend. We served in the same regiment, sir. Taken care of each other since we came back from the front.
This is a dangerous part of town. What are you doing here?
We were looking for the Pembroke Hospital. We both need help. Treatment, I mean. To get some sleep. Just need to feel better, sir.
I have all the information I need for now. If I find anything out about your friend, I'll let you know as soon as I can.
Thank you, Dr. Reed.
So there's that. Where did he go? Did he go back down? Underneath? Investigate citizens' actions. I just realized what that I said.
Good evening, Dr. Tibbets.
Dr. Reed.
What will you do after your resignation? Do you have a plan?
I always fancied visiting Cyprus. Such a beautiful island. I could buy a house there by the sea, read poetry, and wait for death.
Goodbye, Doctor.
There's Clay Cox. Need to get to him. And keep my eye on him. You were not sitting there a few minutes ago.
Good evening, Mr. Cox.
Dr. Reed. Still working at night, I see. I like that.
And why is that?
People who don't sleep at night always seem more alive to me. More interesting, one way or another.
Alright, time to learn your story.
Do you ever think about that poor fellow I saw you push in the water?
The wound he gave me will make sure I don't forget him. Still fucking hurts. Boss had cut me good.
What did he want? Revenge?
I recently had to kill his brother. Poor arsehole thought it would be easy to return the favour.
Only the strongest survive, then? Survival at all costs. Is that all you think about?
I'm the toughest bastard you'll ever meet, Dr. Reed. And I don't give a fuck what you think of me.
That man was determined to murder you. You almost died.
What a surprise. The first time I met him, he nearly shit himself. Fucking coward. I guess revenge gives you balls.
How is your hospitalization going, Mr. Cox?
This is a shitty place with shitty staff. But as long as I'm treated all right, I'll be fine.
What's wrong with the Pembroke staff?
That bastard you sent to bring me here, Milton. I thought he was going to break all my bones before I reached my bed.
I see. Any other smart comments?
The nurses aren't too ugly. Especially that foxy one, Nurse Crane. Pretty brunette, tough attitude, I like that.
What's wrong with the hospital?
Come on, Dr. Reed. The place is a dump. Smelly, sad, and dirty.
But you're alive thanks to the efforts and dedication of the staff here, aren't you?
What are you expecting, a medal? I thought that saving lives was just part of the job. Must be an unsatisfactory profession at this time, I'm sure.
You're lucky to be alive, Mr. Cox. I hope you're starting to take better care of yourself.
This place is full of sickness and decay. How could I get better in such a dump?
Consider yourself lucky that I'm treating all of my patients equally. But don't push your luck.
Don't play the innocent with me. I'm sure you have good reasons to act this way. And also weaknesses that can be exploited.
I'll leave you for now, Mr. Cox.
When I get back, I'll have a word with Tom. He's really pissed me off this time.
He's recovering. I ought to make at least one more copy of the cure for fatigue, since it seems common enough. most uncomfortable making for now. Alright, out to Swansea.
Please, Jonathan, come in.
Are you doing Shakespeare right now?
Fascinating, is it not? In the last decade, so many mysteries have been brought to light with our microscopes. The human body, biology's penultimate frontier. The more we explore its boundaries, the less we're able to trace a clear line between life and death. You, my friend, have a foot in both countries. The view must be vertiginous.
It's at least as vertiginous as chatting about vampires with you, I would say.
This must be all so new to you. This area of town, the hospital, a brand new life. How stimulating it must be.
I wish I could share your enthusiasm, Dr. Swansea, but my condition defies scientific categorization. Undead? Unalive? Immortality defies logic.
I cannot express my thrill at this serendipitous turn of events. The world's most eminent specialist in blood transfusions, a vampire. One might say a gift from heaven.
There is an absurd poetry to my situation. Physician, heal thyself.
Forgive me. I've been an admirer of your work for a long time, and now you are so much more than a brilliant physician. And please, call me Edgar.
There is no need to apologize, Edgar. You offered me sanctuary when I had none.
Very well. I have a task for you, Jonathan. Something that will require all your newfound skills.
Please, go on.
The Pembroke only survives through the generosity of our benefactors. Unfortunately, our main donor has found herself in a bit of a bind. Now, if you could help her out...
A spokesman or politician is what you need. That's not my calling. And until I come to understand what has happened to me, I require discretion.
Discretion is in order, Jonathan. Lady Ashbury has recently received rather indelicate correspondence that, if revealed, would jeopardize her position.
And you would like me to eradicate this threat?
By the stole, of course not. I would just like you to pay her a visit. Her ladyship is certainly near the tents outside, tending the sick. You can't miss her. Look for someone impossibly delicate.
Accepted. I'll see what kind of trouble Lady Ashbury is in.
Warning letter. Dr. Swansea. Oh, so this is from Ackroyd. Reservations, Dr. Thoreau Strickland and Harvey Fiddick. Hospitalized with severe work injury. If not treated well, he could lose it forever. Rare species of vampire. As a scholar and executive of ancestral writings, never insists enough about the importance of taking legends and folklores into account. A common mistake is to view what we know for established truth and use discarding contradictory material. Consider the possibility of undiscovered species of vampires and the necessity to rethink what we see as the established truth about the various types of immortals, based on what we know and we gather through time. For how many centuries do we consider that vampire was a vernacular term for what we have learned to call Ekin? Until the day 4 explorers of the Brotherhood found proof in Siberia that Volkods were a lupine form of vampire, we consider these creatures to be linked to the mythological werewolf. Werewolves are vampires in this world. Yes! Without even leaving beautiful Great Britain, one of the stories of bat-shaped women seen about flying about St. James Church in Louth? What about the creature only identified as a disaster in some obscure testimonies, which tried to destroy London in 1666 by spreading plague? Is that happening? Is there a disaster right now? What about the Nimrod, mythical figure of the restless vampire hunter, sometimes described by ancestral British econs as a legendary huntsman who only feeds on his prey's blood and could go unnoticed among the mortals and immortals? Are we the Nimrod? Huh. The text seems heavily allegorical. Though maybe I'm reading into it a bit too much.
The pain. It's here again.
The flu took my dear wife, Emily. I take comfort knowing we'll soon be together again.
Mr. Rainfield, that's no way to talk. You're in good hands here, and we'll be up again soon enough. Now do me a kindness and get some sleep. I'll be back round later.
Your words are kind, the blessings of an angel. You're the sweet, sweet Lady of Mercy.
Good evening, Dr. Reed. It's a pleasure to see you again. You seem surprised. Dr. Swansea has brought me up to speed concerning your recent appointment to Pembroke Hospital.
You're a the lady who saved me that night, before vanishing into thin air. I remember you from the pub with Dr. Swansea.
Indeed. Allow me to introduce myself formally this time. My name is Lady Ashbury. I remember you well, in spite of the brevity of our encounter.
Apologies. You've taken me by surprise. I'm very happy to see you.
The pleasure is mine, Doctor.
I hope you're more disposed to answer my questions now.
You must have countless questions, but our rather urgent matter first. Swansea has explained. My cover, if you prefer, has been compromised.
Have any of the patients given you trouble?
These poor souls have so little left to live for. I do my best to ease their pain.
The world would be a better place if it were cared for by women like you.
You make me blush. I am simply a necessary evil.
Pardon my boldness, Your Ladyship, but I have questions concerning this condition we share.
As a newborn, your hunger for answers is rivaled only by your thirst for blood. But the questions need wait.
I'm a scientist. My trade is in the deciphering of mysteries, and I need information to feed my mind.
I will gladly answer every question you have, but first, prove yourself capable of resolving my predicament without eating the culprit.
Dr. Swansea has commissioned me to be your agent in this matter. You could start by explaining what's amiss.
These past insufferable weeks, I've been the victim of extortion. I've made a first payment, but the blackmailer grows greedy. I must refuse his most recent demands.
Who would be so foolish as to threaten you? A kindred spirit.
Even if it were the case, and I highly doubt it, a vampire would have asked for something more valuable than money. My suspicions lean toward a patient or their family.
What are your expectations? Please be precise.
As the newly appointed surgeon of this hospital, you are in an excellent position to ask innocent questions and deftly learn the identity of my blackmailer.
Please continue. Every detail is essential. I'm your man.
My embarrassment in this matter is eclipsed only by my shame at having put the hospital at risk. The threat from our anonymous scoundrel is clear. A list of dates. My visits coinciding with the dates of suspicious patient deaths due to massive blood loss.
Is it true?
Now aren't you the blunt one?
We both are afflicted with a thirst for blood, Lady Ashbury. That is our nature. By vocation, we also have reason to visit the hospital. Logic dictates.
In all honesty, I'm not simply a patron to the hospital. My visits serve a dual purpose. Dr. Swansea has been treating my condition with a revolutionary technique of blood transfusion. It seems you are a specialist in the domain.
I'll take care of it. Do you know where I should start?
If that was the case, I'd settle the matter myself. You could talk to our local gossip, Harriet Jones. Not a pin drops here without her hearing about it.
I'll meet that woman now.
My life, as others know, is in your hands, Dr. Reed. I'm sure of your discretion, but I do fear your powers of persuasion will be put to the test. When this is resolved, I'll be your obligé. I'll answer all questions in regards of your condition.
Okay. The door should now be unlocked, and we can speak with Harriet. On the contrary, I think random correspondence is going to be our lore for quite a while.
What is this? Who are you? Get out of my room.
There's no need for alarm, madam. I'm Dr. Reed, the new surgeon.
Preposterous. Dr. Reed, you say? I don't want some bumbling intern. Where's Dr. Swansea?
Dr. Swansea is quite busy, and I need you to help me get acclimated. I have many questions.
How brave. Threatening an old defenseless woman. You know how long I've been a patient here? You've picked the wrong fight. I'm Harriet Jones.
Harriet Jones? Indeed. I've been meaning to have a chat with you. You know what goes on here better than any other patient, I gather.
Oh, better than any patient, nurse or doctor. I've seen so many vile undertakings.
I heard there have been some despicable goings-on. Was there a case of blackmail?
Blackmail? Wait. You're investigating something. This isn't a social call. One of those incompetent cunts slit a poor sod's vein.
If I didn't know better, Miss Jones, I'd be inclined to say you enjoy this type of idle gossip.
God's honest truth, Doctor. It's just the way it is here. Most of these bitches would let you freeze to death before getting you a blanket.
I assure you, madam, this is not an investigation into a possible medical error.
Debauchery, then? Nurses Crane, Hawkins, Brannigans, whores, all of them. They can't keep their legs shut. I've seen them scratching slutty sores.
Really? Well, if you have irrefutable proof, I'll not have the staff behaving in such a manner here.
This is your business, Doctor, not mine. But I swear one of the nurses is cavorting with some man on hospital hours.
Thank you for your time, Miss Jones.
I know.
You've given me something to go on. See you on the next round.
The patients and staff might know something. I'll start my investigation with them.
Don't we already know it's Pippa Hawkins? I guess this is one of those things where we would now be forced to do all this investigating if we hadn't done it already. That dying man. I need to try and talk to him.
Is our little mystery closer to being...
I think of nothing.
My situation...
Not a chance. Very well.
Good evening, Nurse Hawkins.
Good evening, Dr. Reed.
What can you tell me about the strange man visiting one of the nurses during her shift?
Let me guess. You spoke with that old shrew, Harriet Jones. Do not pay attention to her, Doctor. She's full of fanciful tales.
She could have been telling the truth about the mysterious man.
That old witch will end up in hell soon enough. Who cares if a nurse finds some happiness where she can?
Yeah, it's you. She's talking about you and the boyfriend, the thing we already know about.
Goodbye, Nurse Hawkins.
I mean, realistically, I should not be surprised, right?
Good evening, Nurse Brannigan.
Good evening, Doctor.
Have you seen a strange man visiting any of the nurses here?
I've never heard of such a thing, Doctor.
Do you know if any of the hospital staff have criminal backgrounds?
The people who work here all come from very different backgrounds, Doctor. Just like the patients.
Goodbye now.
Dorothy Crane. Why are you so far afield, Miss Crane?
You're sure you don't come back with me?
Nah, I have to see someone at the hospital.
Be careful. You look so bad they may keep you as a patient.
Fuck 'em. I don't like hospitals or doctors.
Well then, when you go back to Whitechapel, you may find this useful.
What is it?
A pass for a free medical exam by the best nurse available. Just read it.
I don't read well, but thank you, I guess.
Retrieve the thug in the sewers. Okay. If you're not strong enough, remember the blood of citizens is the fastest way to evolve. Yeah, this game is really pressuring me to make the kill choice, which also means I am not willing to do it. depths of the sewers. We also have the investigation here, right? Not the pharmacy. So those are recovering, which is nice. Missing friend, Newton Blight.
He's locked the door behind him. I need to find another way to follow him.
Hypochlorite and potassium permanganate. Codeine, ferrous tartrate. Bergamontine, opium. Chests are loaded.
This man has been savagely attacked and dragged to the floor.
Skulls. Feels slightly unfair, but okay. Enemy loot is now dropping a fair amount of these medical supplies since I discovered the main ones. Oh, that is some nonsense right there. Rusty box of pills. Just drag that way. Light regeneration serum. The Ban of the Dragon. Very wary of the so-called scholars. So the ban of the dragon is a so-called ritual. When they find a violent or bloodthirsty mortal, they call upon him this ban. So it's a way to exile vampires? Sewer beast, huh?
What sort of creature is this?
Oh lord. When Blood Spear does that little. Am I gonna die? I was dodging. I was dodging. Okay. Once again, I was dodging. Is dodging not enough for you? What the fuck does it take? Well, he executes that attack. There's just nothing. No dodging it, no nothing. Just fuck you. Suck my nuts. Good die. Infuriating each and every time.
not a lot to check. I should, anyway.
I fucking did it first try. My god. There's Crane's voucher. If you are sick, if you have no money, whoever you are, wherever you're from, come see Dorothea to get help. No tricks, no charges, no questions asked. The whole thing is presented in what I am going to guess is it Spanish or Latin?
Some voucher for a free checkup in Whitechapel. What is Nurse Crane up to? I really must find her.
Try Romanian. Very interesting. Yep. Alright. Posture check. Hydration check. And 1,000 XP for me for that boss fight. Very fucking hard fought. But well deserved, IMO. Sorry. Rats. I need this. Still a guy yelling. Is that the friend? That's where he got dragged through. Careful, the endangered citizen might not survive the next night. You chose the wrong time to piss me off. Good fucking night.
Are you injured, sir?
Help me get out of here. I need to get out.
I'm Dr. Reed, and I'd be glad to help you, but you must calm down first. Please, take a deep breath and tell me your name.
Okay. I'm Oswald Thatcher. Please, I need to get out.
Mr. Thatcher, your friend Newton sent me to help you. Do you remember him?
Yes, I do.
Good. Now leave this place and enjoy the cool night air. It's quite invigorating. I'm sure you'll feel better if you do.
Okay. Citizen rescued. And quinine, clove essence. Are you coming?
Are you sure you're all right, sir?
Yes. Yes, I'll be.
Headache. Don't have that, but I'll be able to help him later. Well, he was in baby jail to save himself from the Skjall. Okay. I hate that that takes priority instead of me jamming a fucking stake into their neck. There. We're gonna head back to our room. We'll see what we can create. What we can do. Clay Cox is still recovering. Interesting. If we don't manage to successfully find the blueprints for Headache by the time we next see our boy, we'll see if we can do something to help him. So I need common trigger parts and common handle parts. Let's at least go hit up Milton for those. Just so we can upgrade our swords some and our guns some. Feel like it would have helped to invest before the boss fight, but we'll learn.
Good evening, Milton.
Good evening, Doctor. Still trying to save lives?
I'd like to see your good.
Wise choice, Doctor.
Good thing, too. Seeing it's the one part, it's about all he got. damage by 10% or absorb blood points. Absorb 2.5 blood points when the weapon hits. I think I'm just going to go for damage, I think. Achievement unlocked. That's better. Only have one common trigger part. Reload on bullets. So we're increasing autophagy again. Make it better for healing. And we're going in on bite builds, I think. I mean, I'll be honest, and I think what you're suggesting is happening. Look at the veins in his face. Looks like they're getting progressively more severe the more we invest in this. Like around here, especially. Looks like his eyes are becoming progressively more bloodshot as well. Well, not bloodshot, but like the veins and the darkness really is standing clear. Alright. Every night, the consequences of your actions may improve or degrade the district's health status. It can also be degraded due to diseases spreading. The more lives you take, the unhealthier a district becomes. If a district health drops below the critical threshold, it will plunge into chaos. It's for you to decide the fate of the district. Hampton is a pillar of the flock in the docks. I've at least done a lot of good. Though Oswald Thatcher, I need to find a treatment for headache if I can. But aside from that, I've become introduced to absolutely everyone in this district by my shrewd detective work. I'm gonna get, yeah, this is Whitechapel. Dorothy Crane. Well, I will say one thing. It is not only late enough, but I get the distinct feeling that we're going to be going through the whole shebang again. In terms of reaching Whitechapel, like, psychoanalyzing the shit out of everybody, and trying to improve the health there. So we're going to call it a night. Especially because it's 10:30 and I have work again tomorrow morning. So, thank you all very much for watching. As always, stay safe and healthy, my friends. Bye-bye.